the brain goes off. So, all right, thank you very much. And tomorrow afternoon, hold on to your hats, folks, because it is time for the monthly Mulligan Group here on the News 1490 Special Election Day edition. We have nothing whatsoever to talk about. Phil King, Malcolm Barrett Jr., Bob Recker, and Tom Riley will be in to give you their take on everything from Trump to the election and everything in between, everything you didn't want to know but you're going to be forced to listen to. 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon live on stream, on Facebook, and on KYCA. So I want to welcome everybody in today. And, of course, today we talked to Clark Tenney last week about Prescott High School and Prescott School District getting started. I'm about to say the 3 words that every parent is getting ready to count the minutes while every kid is going to start screaming in horror, and that is school starts Thursday. Woohoo!
Let's celebrate.
So, Dr. Griffin, thank you for coming in. We love to have the superintendents come in and talk, and especially this year, because Humboldt has gone over some really major changes this year. And we kind of want to go over with this with all the folks who might be listening, might be a little confused. I certainly am. And I don't even have kids in school anymore.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 20 years of not having to shuttle kids and, and no kids. And Andrew's over here saying, oh, thank goodness I don't have to go to high school anymore. And what's the first thing I throw at Andrew? He's got to face the superintendent. Okay.
Oh,
he's thrilled.
No.
He's thrilled.
Pouty face.
Oh, thank you for that. Okay. But anyway, Dr. Griffin, I know that we've got quite a bit going on. Let me share this out real quick for Facebook. If you're on Facebook, we are there. Hang on, it's got to give me a little thing here. There we go. Hey, you can tune in on Facebook now, folks. Okay, school starts Thursday. That's the big thing.
Yes.
Is the move complete? Because I know there's been a lot of shuffling of schools, offices, and things, and it looked in May like this is going to be tough. How has it worked out?
It's worked out great. So yes, the move is complete. I think of it as moving into a house. You're there, you're living it. You might have a few things still in boxes, but we're ready for kids. Our classrooms are set up and ready to go.
I imagine I haven't seen the buses out practicing yet. Are they out?
They have done a couple of rounds. In fact, just this morning I got to greet all of our bus drivers and welcome. I think we only had about 5 new bus drivers this year. So
wow.
Yes.
And I've heard great things from Clark Tenney, and I expect to from you too, in that we don't get a lot of turnover when it comes to our teachers, our staff here. They seem to want to come to these districts here in Prescott.
That's true. That's true. In Prescott Valley and Humboldt Unified School District, we welcomed 45 new teachers at our new teacher induction. And last year we had welcomed 75 teachers. So
wow.
Yes, we were able to retain a lot of our highly qualified teachers.
Now, for those of you who might be interested, and I just want to throw this out there, are you still looking for a few positions coming into the school year, or do you think you're fully staffed at this point?
We're pretty fully staffed. So it's a great place to be in.
That's true. I don't deny that. So what we wanted to do today was kind of talk about the beginning of schools. Clark talked about it last Monday. First day of school for Humboldt and Prescott is August 1st. Now that means the teachers are already in and working right now, getting their classes set up, correct?
That's correct. Today was the first day back for all of our teachers as well.
Went well, I hope.
Yes, it did. Yes, it is. Tomorrow they'll be in a full day training. So we're happy that they've had the time to set up their classrooms today.
One thing, Humboldt did not do a Thursday start for a couple of years after Prescott started doing it. What do you think of the Thursday start instead of a Monday start for the school year?
Sure. I happen to love it. I think that it really sets up the kids for success. So they come in on a Thursday. They're kind of sleepy from the summer, if you will. They don't have the longevity to get through or the stamina to get through the day. And what that does is you're able to do your rules and your procedures and just really familiarize the students with the schedule for the day. And that way, when they come on Monday, they're ready to start learning.
That's great. That's a great concept. Well, Prescott starts on Thursday. Humboldt starts Thursday. Chino starts on Monday, August 5th. They have the 4-day week, of course. So they're going to go ahead and start on the 5th. Good start there. I remember Labor Day.
Oh, yes.
That was a long time ago. Labor Day to Memorial Day, and
yes.
That was it, unless the teachers struck. I come from a union state.
Oh, yes.
So sometimes it was a mid-September start and a mid-June end. But, That's not here.
No, it isn't. I grew up in Arizona. I grew up in Gilbert, so it's always been a little bit before Labor Day just because of how hot May and June get.
What do you think of the expanded school year that we've seen gradually happen over the past several years, where we're incorporating a week break in fall and then spring break and longer times for Thanksgiving? A longer school year, but still the same year. What are your thoughts?
I've actually experienced it when I was in Cottonwood Oak Creek School District. We added 2 weeks at fall break, 2 weeks at the winter break, and then 2 weeks at spring break. What ended up happening was it gave us time to be able to remediate for some students during those breaks. So it wasn't that the kids actually had the time off. It was a way for us to catch up the kids a little bit. It was great for the kids. The parents, not so much.
Yeah, take a 2-week vacation there in the middle of the school year.
Yes,
So
3
you're-
times.
So you're happier with what we have here in the Humboldt district.
Yes, I think that works well for our families and our community and our students as well.
Well,
Yeah.
they come to expect it too. And let's face it, also, it's a week off for the athletic teams as well at the high school. No football that week, that kind of thing. I understand everybody needs a little bit of a break. Not when we were going to school. Let me tell you, Andrew, we were going to school uphill both ways in snow that was on fire. Okay,
Yes.
so anyway, okay, so very quickly. And by the way, if anybody is listening and you'd like a question of Humboldt School District or anything else, 928-541-1016. That is our phone number. And, of course, the lines are open, so you're welcome to call in. The big thing this year, as we said, was the big move among all the schools at Humboldt. Summarize briefly all the moves, or if you can do that very quickly. Let's start it this way. What was behind the movement in the first place?
Thank you. I'll have to back up a little bit before
Right.
I can go forward.
Right.
So when I came to this district 6 years ago, I heard a lot of talk about the lack of preschools in the area, and also that our middle schools, it was hard to build culture because it was only 2 years. Half the kids were new, half the kids were leaving. Also, our high school was really kind of busting at the seams, if you will. It was difficult to add programming because there just wasn't any space. The high school, we did a survey a few years ago to try to figure out how much it would cost to build 4 classrooms, just to add a little more space to the classrooms.
Okay.
And it ended up coming in about $3 million just to add 4 classrooms. So we had to get creative. We had to get creative with our space. How do we create more space for preschools, more space for our elementaries, really build a better culture at our middle schools? And then our high school needed a theater, they needed another gym, they needed some more classrooms, and really just the thought of adjusting where people were at really created this beautiful space to be able to add preschools to the elementaries, to be able to add 6th, 7th, and 8th grade and more opportunities for middle school students. And our high school now has another gym, they have a theater, and they have 19 classrooms just because we incorporated the Glassford Hill Middle School as now part of the high school.
Wow. Well, that made sense. Now, as in looking at the high school campus first,
Okay.
we see Glassford, we see what it is, and that it became now part of the high school. And that is where the district office is now, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's the second floor.
So
Or as I understand.
district office has taken over the first
Okay,
floor,
excuse me.
except for the gym and the theater.
Right.
And then upstairs, there's 19 classrooms that are now part of the high school CTE program, their dual enrollment programs, their AP programs, sort of juniors and seniors,
Okay.
the kids that are mature enough to make the 5-minute walk from the high school campus to now our new, I'm calling it college and career ready building.
Okay. Okay. Interesting point.
Yes.
That's true because we've had a closed campus for a long time for Bradshaw, and even though it's just across the street, it's still an experience, isn't it?
It is. And there's a sidewalk that connects the two buildings through the baseball fields.
Okay.
So they don't even have to go out into the parking lot. It's a 5-minute walk.
Not bad.
Yep.
Okay. If you were at Glassford Middle School, were you moving completely to the new school? Or
Yes.
how did that work? Was there any changes to the boundaries?
Sure. So we looked at elementary schools, and the way that we divided up boundaries before, elementary schools were split up. So if you were a sixth grader and you were going to Glassford and you had been at Granville Elementary School,
Okay.
you might be with a peer, or your peer might be going to Bradshaw Mountain Middle School. So it was really important to us that we kept our cohorts of kids together for that really crucial transition.
Right.
So if you're currently at Granville Elementary School or Coyote Springs Elementary School, you go to Pronghorn Ridge Middle School.
Okay.
And then Humboldt Elementary School, Mountain View Elementary School, and Lake Valley Elementary School go to Bradshaw Mountain Middle. And that was also a numbers game as well, and that was to make sure that our schools were equal in numbers and equal in teachers, so that way we could provide equitable experiences to both schools.
And to those who don't know where Pronghorn Ridge Middle School is, that's where the bus barn is, and that's where the preschools and the district office used to be.
Correct.
Okay, so that's over on the east side.
Yes. So right off of Fane and Robert Road.
Okay, so if you see the bus barn from Fane, that's where the new middle school is. That's where the Glassford kids, for the most part, are going to be going.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to take a break here on KYCA. Keep that thought in mind, folks. We're still trying to get through all of this. And I'm sure all of you know a whole lot more than I do because I don't have kids in there anymore. Okay, 928-541-1016. We're going to take our first break. Back after this. And we're back here on the KYCA PM show. Dr. Griffin's still with us. I mean, I can't believe you're still with us. You got so much to do. We love having the school superintendents in just before school starts, and it's kind of the end of summer for us, although it's still hotter than heck out there. Okay, so we have Pronghorn Ridge Middle School. And then Bradshaw Mountain Middle School really hasn't changed very much,
Except
correct?
we've added 6th grade to it.
And that's right.
Yes.
Yes, it's not a junior high anymore.
So it's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, so that both schools are junior highs. They're middle schools,
Okay.
really. And we also added some programming, some career and technology programming to both schools.
How has that been in terms of, because there was a movement for many years away from technical, especially at the high school level.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to bring in CTE and start all this up, but making it relevant. It's not just woodworking and all of this. It's different things. How has that been, and where do you want it to go from there?
Oh, I'm very excited about our CTE programming. We just added a print lab,
Oh,
and
wow.
the media will be designing everything, and then business will be running it. So
Wow.
just little things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about at the middle school level? You were saying that there's some new programming there. What would you like to start the kids on?
Well, I really wanted to do gaming. I was advised that we should call it coding, but we did. We had some ESSER funding that we used that we were able to put at both schools some really high-end gaming computers that they will be doing coding and other things that I just think are very engaging and relevant to today's youth. Also, we'll have welding at Bradshaw Mountain Middle School and more of like woodworking at
Wow.
Pronghorn Ridge.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. A welding class at middle school level. That is amazing.
Mhm.
I suppose there has been a call for that from the parents and from the community as well, for that kind of programming all the way through high school, correct?
It's just looking at ways to engage kids. We want to be able to expose them to all the different types of career paths, so that way when they get to high school and they start picking some of those CTE programs, they have an idea of what they like and what they don't like. It will help them as far as their graduation and leaving our schools with certificates and competitive in the job market.
Wow. Okay, so CTE, and at the high school level, as you were saying, this is more of the advanced kids, the juniors and seniors to a great extent. But because what kind of challenging programs are we talking about here at the high school then? Did I miss something here? I'm sorry.
No. So we have AP classes, we have dual enrollment, and then
Right.
we do have CTE programming as well.
Okay, now what would you say would be the CTE at the high school?
So the CTE at the high school, we have a coding. We also have. Sorry, I've just gone blank.
No, it's okay. It's
We
the
have
first day of
I
school
know.
almost, which is Thursday, kids.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So-
It'll come to me in just a minute.
all
I
right,
just
I'll pass to
yep.
another question. Yeah,
Yep.
there. So with this move, you're still talking about the same number of kids, or maybe even more than what we've been dealing with. It seems to grow every year. The same number of classrooms needed, but yet we're able to get some extra classrooms out of the deal. How did that come about? I mean, it was just creative look at how things were utilized?
Sure. When you look at the district office where it was at, that building that was originally built to be a high school, it had about 18 classrooms in it, and it was currently being used to house our district departments plus a preschool. The preschool was Bright Futures Preschool, and
That's
it
right.
served about 100 students that were students who qualified as students with disabilities. So primarily students who had IEPs or needed some special needs looked after. And we really wanted to find a way to be able to put preschools at the elementaries and also expand our preschools. So we had to create room.
So you moved the 6th grade out of the elementary schools
Yes.
into the middle school format.
Yes.
And that gave you the room for how many preschools in the district?
So we have a preschool at Granville Elementary School, Coyote Elementary School, Humboldt Elementary School, and did I say Granville?
Did
yes,
you?
Granville,
Okay.
Coyote. We have 4. Mountain View,
Mountain View.
and that was Mountain View that
There
I
you,
missed.
there you go.
Lake Valley, we're looking at expanding next year, so that way we'll have a preschool at every elementary school.
And I guess the need is there.
It is. It is.
Okay. What are the thoughts of the staff and management and classified and everybody else concerning the move? I'm sure it was, oh my gosh, we've got to do this big task at the beginning of the summer. But what's the overall sense of it now?
Right now, I think it's just relief that it's over.
I'm sure.
The big move was preschool to begin with, because we had to get preschool out of that location in order for our middle school to move in. And that happened the first 2 weeks of summer.
Okay.
We had a lot of support with moving it. We also had to get our preschool moved right away so that way we could get it licensed in time for it to be able to open up on the first day of school, and all of that has happened. And then the really big move was just moving Glassford Hill over to the new location, and a lot of teachers showed up. There was a lot of support from community members and families, and they were able to get it done.
Wow. It was a big move, definitely. I mean, we've seen a few things like this as districts have grown around here, that things change and split and move. And this is the first time we've seen something like this in Humboldt for a little while. But still, do you see this as a long-term solution? And is there any plans in the future for any expansion despite the $3 million price tag for 4 compliant classrooms?
Sure. Well, we have something called a school facilities department with the state, and they're the ones that came in and built that building off of Fane and Robert Road,
Right.
because we had enough students for them to come in and say, you need a new high school. And so they came in, the state paid for it, and they built the high school. So moving things around and making sure that every building is used to its capacity and moving students to the middle school, our district office location,
Right.
that shows the state that we're being good stewards of our property. And when we start maxing out that property, then the state may come in and say, you have enough students, we'll build you another school.
Okay. Oh, very interesting. So we're not looking at a bond election anytime soon or any other things. And I imagine the district is healthy where that's concerned. There's always needs. I understand that. I think everybody does. But at this point, things seem to be fairly stable out there.
I feel really good about where we're at and just the way that we've positioned ourselves in order to best serve students.
Okay. And the parents on the move? Everything's good?
Yes, we had 2 open houses at the new middle schools, with Bradshaw Mountain Middle adding the 6th grade.
Right.
Huge success. It was hard to get parents to leave.
I think the kids might have wanted to let them stay anyway. But all right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're about ready to take a break. I want to thank you for this. And then let's talk a little bit about the upcoming school year. And I don't know if you're a football fan, but the Bradshaw Mountain Bears are going to do pretty good this year. And by the way, for those of you who are not sure or haven't seen the schedule yet, Prescott is going to be at Bradshaw this year. So any friendly wagering between you and Clark Tenney at this point?
Ooh, not yet, but I know that there's a history of this sort of jersey wearing at a board meeting that
We'll hold you to that, and you folks hold us to this. We're going to take a quick break and be back after this. And we're back here on the KYCA PM show. Thanks for joining us. Dr. Christine Griffin is here from the Humboldt School District. Christine, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm bad with names. They will tell you.
You've got it right every single time.
I know, but it's just I'm scared because, I mean, this is the school superintendent. You don't want to make the school superintendent upset.
Christine is fine.
I thank you. Okay. I'm sorry. It's always Mr. Carter.
Oh, yes.
I mean, when it's Tim Carter, it's Mr. Carter.
Yes.
So,
yes.
and I asked you this before, but I'm going to put you on the record. Any aspirations of taking over for Mr. Carter one of these days, or are you where you want to be?
I'm right where I want to be. I feel really lucky to be the school superintendent for Humboldt Unified, and I'm just getting started.
You were at Humboldt for a while before you became superintendent, is that right?
That's right. I was there for 6 years before, and prior to that, I was over in the Verde Valley and the school district over there. So,
big change between there and here?
Not in education. It's all Yavapai County, as you said earlier, Mr. Tim Carter.
Yep.
It's we all have worked together and shared professional development together. So really,
not that much of a transition.
No, not at all. Not
okay,
at all.
Good. I know coming from Phoenix to here, that's a change.
Yes, I imagine so. No.
Do you see a lot of teachers who are coming out of the valley that are not necessarily new but just want to get out of the valley?
I'm not really seeing a lot of that. I feel like most of our teachers are homegrown, if you will, and just really products of this area.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. They know what to expect then. By the way, 928-541-1016 if you have any questions of the Humboldt Unified School District. Okay. School starts August 1st. That's Thursday.
Yes.
Kids, it's almost time.
The buses will be coming.
Oh, my gosh. I tell you, it seems every year to me, having had 2 children in the Humboldt district for pretty much the entire time, I think, from kindergarten all the way through to high school, and Bright Futures. You were at Bright Futures, I believe. Better have been. And we still have to talk about that disciplinary report. But anyway, 3-year-olds, you know.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, seriously, it seems every year that Humboldt, to me, is getting a little bit better in quality of teachers, of personnel, and, to be honest, of students as well. But we had a bump in the road with COVID.
Sure.
How is the district recovering from that? Because you're still in recovery. You've still got a lot of kids that went through that from 4th grade up.
You're absolutely right. And I think I read a statistic recently that said that we will, for like 3 generations, we will be experiencing sort of a drawback from COVID. Right now, I mean, our kids are still suffering from a learning loss, and we really are being intentional with our instruction. We've just received a $1.2 million grant. It's called Project Momentum, and its pure focus is on making our classroom teachers better.
All right.
And so it's really just developing best practices and really investing in our classroom teachers so that way we can catch kids up and that we can really ensure that they are proficient and they leave our schools ready for the world.
Are you finding that easier the further we get from COVID, that you've had 4 graduating classes now, or 3, I think. And, Andrew was a freshman.
Yeah.
He was in 8th grade and then a freshman at the beginning of all this. And do you see that things are improving? Do you feel that the kids are starting to catch up? And I know it's harder with the high school kids at this point.
Yeah, I think what's amazing about the high school kids that just recently graduated and went through it is the resiliency, right? Mm-hmm. That this group of students just really have each other's backs, and they are compassionate and really just good human beings, right? Yep. With our younger kids, the ones that were in kindergarten or 1st grade, when they were learning to read, we're still seeing some issues with that. And so we really have to really focus some pretty intense interventions to make sure that they get caught up.
Is it getting any easier as time has gone on for these 5th and 6th graders and things like that? I mean, as you're still seeing issues over 4 years.
Right. Well, like I said, kids are so resilient. And when they're in school and they're with their peers, there's no place they'd rather be. So they will rally.
They will rally. Now, that's a good way to put it. All right, we're going to take a break here on KYCA. Dr. Griffin, hang in there. We got more to go. 928-541-1016. Please call if you'd like to, if you have any questions, and we'll be back after this. Okay, we're back here on the KYCA PM show. Dr. Christine Griffin and myself, we're sitting across from each other getting ready for school. Count the hours, kids. Thursday morning. Oh, my goodness. I can't wait.
It's coming.
It's always fun to see the school buses out and the school supplies are out and things like that. So I'm sure everybody's a little bit excited. And as you said, the teachers are back, right?
Yes. And their schools are just buzzing with excitement. And the teachers getting ready this time of year, it's just full of new beginnings and hope and just really an opportunity to just do really great things for students.
There you go. I'm going to address one thing. I didn't tell you we were going to do this, but I'm going to.
Okay.
One thing that has been on a few people's minds, although fortunately we're a few years removed from the worst of it, is security.
Yes.
And that's something that I know you and Tim Carter has told me they think about every single day.
Absolutely.
How do you feel that Humboldt is ready? Is there anything new that you're implementing? And I don't want you to go into anything that you can't talk about.
Sure.
But obviously it's all in protection of the kids.
Sure. With some of the ESSER funding that we got, the COVID relief funding, we were able to harden our entrances. We were able to add a plethora of cameras and things like vape sensors and just things that you need to have in place to keep kids safe.
Vape sensors.
Yes.
Okay, I hadn't thought of that, but you're right.
Yep. High school and middle schools. Yep.
I could tell you tales, but anyway.
Yes.
There's too many
Don't.
too many of my friends at Prescott High School. Hi, Badgers, class of '88. But seriously, when you look at now last year, I can tell you this as a parent of the Bradshaw High School, we noticed the change in the front office, the entrances, and is that where things are kind of walled off? You have to be buzzed in. Is this something that we're seeing district wide now?
Yes, absolutely. So every school, we call that hardening our entrance. So there's sort of a fishbowl area, if you will, when people enter a building that it's that they're kept in before they move on, or if they don't need to move on.
Okay.
We have Verkada systems. That's a visitor system that does a real quick background check on just about anybody that enters our
Really?
buildings, which is great to have. But the biggest thing with school safety that we were able to do 2 years ago, I was able to write a grant for school resource officers, and so we were able to add two to our two. So we have 4 school resource officers that work elementary through at the high school. And we also added last year an SRO supervisor who is also housed at our new district office.
Wow. So I always heard that it was hard to go from even one district resource officer to 2, and now we're seeing 4 at Humboldt.
Yes.
How's that going to work? Do we have somebody full-time at the high school and then others rotating, or?
Yes, we do. We have a full-time resource officer at the high school plus a backup one, but they're assigned to different schools. With the grant, there's very specific things that they have to do and some education and different things.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah.
I'm sure that's really something because that builds with the kids.
Yes.
You know, the sense of security and the sense of police officers are just regular people.
Yes, that relational capacity is huge with the kids, and they just love the younger ones, the elementaries, they love our resource officers.
Okay, well, I'm happy to hear that. I know because it's something that we try and keep at the back of our minds as
Right.
parents. But as teachers, and as administrators, that's the front of your mind, isn't it?
Absolutely. First thing we think of is safety.
Okay. Anything else that you can tell us? I mean, in terms of, are we seeing anything new this year in terms of safety or procedures that the districts have to do or coordinate, or, have to do or are incorporating into the school year? Anything outstanding besides what we've talked about here?
There are. I'm not sure how much I want to share,
That's okay.
but
I'm sorry.
we
That's
just
okay.
no. But there are different drills that we not the standard ones that we had when we were growing up,
Right, we
where
had the
you
fire
just
drills.
Yep, or just like the duck and cover
Yep.
or whatever.
Oh my gosh,
there's
yes.
yes, I'm dating myself a little bit.
I didn't ask. It's not my place to ask.
Did you have to do the book on your head? And
Yes, I had to.
yeah,
Okay.
Yes, we're not doing those.
Okay.
But there are some drills that we do that are a little more relevant to the way that emergencies are practiced nowadays.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. But you're satisfied with where we're at right now. It's hard to be completely satisfied. I mean, there's things I know that you can always want to do.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that we have all the right people in the right places, that we're very well staffed. There's supervision. We've got good plans in place. So
Good. Well, that's something that I said, people have it in the back of their minds, but they never really think about it actively until something happens.
Sure.
And thank goodness we've had nothing here. But
Yes.
still, we just want to make sure that that continues. Okay. I'll tell you what, we're going to take our last break, so we've got a little bit more time to talk at the top of the hour here on KYCA. Dr. Griffin, this has been wonderful, and I appreciate it. So think about what you want to end with.
Okay.
You know, a warning to students, we're that many more minutes closer to school. We'll be back after this. Okay, we're back to the last segment here on the KYCA PM show. I want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon, it's the show you really want to try and avoid, but you can't help yourself. It's the Mulligan Group here on KYCA. The panel of all knowledge will impart their wisdom on a breathlessly waiting community. Dr. Griffin, thank you for coming in. What do you want to see this year? What do you want to, you've been superintendent now
1 year.
1 year. You kind of got broken in, although you have been with the district for a few years.
Yes.
What would you really like to see the end look like this year? What do you want to accomplish?
Well, I'm excited about this year. I feel like last year we spent a lot of time just getting people in the right places, right? And so we've got a nice foundation. And then this year, our focus really is on just really good instructional practices, making sure that we are focused on student achievement. And it sounds really simple.
Right, but that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And so you're going to try and do this. Is there anything innovative in the classroom that really struck you this year besides, let's say, CTE? Now, we know that's a big thing for everybody.
Yes.
But is there anything that you're really excited about that might be new to the district?
Well, that's the Project Momentum grant, right? So that has people coming in to support. Our principals have coaches now.
Wow.
And then we have a district coach really to look at our data and drill down with our data and really focus our teachers and give them a framework, if you will, for how to really focus on student achievement.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
This is interesting. I mean, and it's always a learning process. We know that with the teachers. They have to continue their education. Have you found that any difference? And again, you taught before COVID, you've taught after, and now you're administrating. Are we seeing a difference in the teachers and the level of education these days, and also the dedication to the classroom and to the kids? Because that was a life-altering event for a lot of people.
That's really interesting. I'm glad that you asked that question because there is a little bit of a difference with the educators that are coming in. We have a lot of educators that are second career teachers.
Really?
So they had a career as something else before. And so they're bringing all of this like robust knowledge with them into the classroom. And they're there because they've chosen to be there. It wasn't just, well, maybe I want to be a teacher. I feel like being a teacher. It's like, I need to do this and I have all of this information to share and really just to be a champion for kids.
Wow. Okay. That's going to be interesting this year.
Yeah.
And again, Thursday, August 1st, I keep wanting to throw that out there. It's great. And I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Right, Andrew? You did pass your last class, right? Okay. You graduated, right?
I was there. He graduated.
Oh, yes. You could pick him out of 420 kids. How many kids was it last year in graduating class?
Was it about 420? Like 422?
Wow.
Yes.
It seems to be growing like crazy. Are you able to take care of the growth? Because I know we're still getting people moving in and Prescott Valley is just growing like crazy. So are you able to handle it so far?
Yeah, so with the moves that we did, that just created enough space and enough buffer to be able to expand the high school and be able to add a couple of classrooms to each of the elementaries. And now our middle schools, they have a little more space to wiggle as well.
Wow. And I knew Bradshaw Mountain Junior High had room to grow.
Yes.
And it's a unique environment, being all outdoors for the most part between classes.
Yes.
And that's where both of my kids went, and, happily. Okay.
I love that school. And that school can hold about 800 kids and will currently be about 500.
And it was the former high school.
Correct.
So
it was yes.
It's a very interesting concept there. So that, as we have grown and changed and moved around, it's been interesting. Yeah. So I guess, trying to think, is there any messages you want to send out to the folks out there or to the folks in Prescott for that matter who might be thinking about moving, because we are in an open classroom? Sorry, Clark. No offense, but any thoughts about that? What do you want to impart to the parents and to the kids out there?
Yeah, we definitely live in a community of school choice, and I completely support school choice. I think it's wonderful. I just want Humboldt Unified to be the choice, and I want to make sure that we're offering the opportunities that kids need. And so come check us out. If you're interested, I know families do a lot of shopping. We have a lot to offer.
Okay. I talked to you about this year. Mm-hmm. This is what you want to see. Do you have any long-term goals that you would like to think to see? Let's say if you leave the job in 5 or 6 years down the road or whenever.
Right.
I mean, it depends. You might be there a long time. It just happens.
I hope.
I mean, everybody has their different career. But when you leave, is there anything that you would really like to accomplish and be able to say, we managed to get this done?
It's student achievement. Honestly, I want to see our school, first of all, doing better than the state. And then I want to see our district being one of the best districts in the state for student achievement. That legacy would be amazing.
Oh, there you go. Okay. And let me think. I'm trying to think of a few other things because we've covered so much here. Tomorrow's the election. These calls from the candidates are,
Yeah, I thought it was her. I'm like, you better pick up.
I thought it was her. Yeah, okay. Don't call during the show. You know better. Yep. I'm not saying that there's anybody, in specifically that I wanted to say, Carrie. But don't call during the show. Okay, so
Yep, so we've got Project Momentum. That's
Yeah.
a 2-year grant. That's
Right.
something that just about 10 districts in Arizona have.
Okay.
And that support really is going to help us with our Wednesday early releases, which is the professional learning community time.
Correct.
And that's where teachers are going to be able to plan together and develop their collective advocacy. But again, in the end result, it's all about student achievement.
Okay, I have 1 minute left, and I had to throw this at you.
Yep.
AI in the classroom.
Oh.
And I know that's the 2 letters nobody really wants to talk about. And I know the kids are writing AI, Andrew, in their. How do you combat that? Is there any plan at this point or any thought?
Yeah, we have some really basic, with AI being so new, some basic policy that has come out that's just basic to try to keep kids safe when using it. But I personally think AI is pretty cool.
Okay.
And I also think that it's here to stay. So we have to be smarter than AI. So when we're asking kids to write papers, we have to ask them in a way that AI couldn't respond.
Ooh, a challenge.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, just like you said, Mr. Carter used to make those tests.
Yes.
Make them so nobody could cheat. We have to do the same.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, final word. Thank you very much, Dr.
right.
Griffin. We appreciate you coming in. We hope the best for your schools district,
you.
for the kids, for the educators. Everybody has a wonderful year this year.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to be here.
All right. And folks, don't forget, we're only 23 hours away from the greatest hour on radio besides this one, and that would be the Mulligan Group. You know you want to be a part of it. One of these days, we will have score sheets on the website, so be ready to download that. But tomorrow, it's just for fun and election night coverage tomorrow night after 8 o'clock. Dr. Griffin, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And thank you, folks, for tuning in. The news with Marty Myers up next on KYCA.